The Knicks have been dealing with significant injuries to key players. They've been trying to stay afloat. We've needed players to step up and showcase what they can do. And no player has embodied that more than Josh Hart, who is thriving for the New York Knicks at the perfect time. We're going to break down exactly what he's doing for the Knicks, his impact, and why if the Knicks reach the postseason and they're healthy, Josh Hart deserves a lot of praise for that. All of this and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now and make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Josh Hart is thriving for the New York Knicks at the perfect time. We are dealing with so many difficult injuries right now. Julius Randle out, still recovering. He's close to returning, but still out. OG Anunoby is the closest to returning, but he's been out for a number of weeks. And then Isaiah Hartenstein, obviously still dealing with that sore Achilles, but he's coming along. Mitchell Robinson with ankle surgery, he's coming along. You see where I'm going with all of this? The Knicks have been dealing with all of these injuries. We've needed players to step up. Josh Hart, seeing all of this, he has stepped up in a significant way. When we've had players out, we've needed players to stay in the game, not take a break. This man has stayed in the game. One point in a certain game, he played 47 minutes, only resting 1 minute. He's been averaging 40 minutes a night since OG Anunoby has gone down, and we've needed him. We've needed his defense. We've needed his hustle. And honestly, and I'm surprised I'm saying this, we've needed his offense because in OG's absence, he's been going coast to coast. He's been scoring. He's been shooting the three just a little bit better. He's been penetrating. He's been creating. He's been taking contact, getting the bucket. He has been complaining as well, too. But you know what? That's exactly what Josh Hart does. And honestly, it's kind of a New York thing. When something doesn't go your way and you think it should have gone your way, you're going to say something about it, you're going to complain, and you're going to let the referees know what you're feeling. And that's exactly what Josh Hart does. And sometimes it goes his ways, but oftentimes it doesn't, and sometimes he gets that technical. But you know what? I think New York Knicks fans are going to forgive him for that, especially when he gives this hustle and this type of play each and every night. And I'm not the only one who noticed this. NBA Insider with SNY, Ian Bagley, also noticed it too. This is what he stated about Josh Hart and what he means to the New York Knicks after all of these injuries that they're dealing with. According to Bagley, if the Knicks navigate through this stretch of injuries and play well in the postseason, Hart's play over the last few weeks shouldn't go overlooked. He's played at least 40 minutes in the past 7 games and is averaging 40 minutes per game since Randle's injury. Not to mention, when the Knicks recently beat the Magic, he was all business. He had 19 points on 8 for 12 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and he played 42 minutes that night. There are many NBA insiders that I trust and I listen to and that I read on a day-to-day basis, but Ian Bagley has to be one of the main ones that I look at. And him saying that Josh Hart is having an impact, such a huge impact, that if the Knicks go into the postseason healthy and they're doing damage in the playoffs, you got to look at Josh Hart and his impact. That means a lot to me. And I absolutely agree with him. If you've been watching the Knicks over these last 7, 8 games, Josh Hart and his impact has not gone unnoticed. He has been stepping up exactly when the Knicks need him to. He has been scoring. He has been getting rebounds. Rebounding demon. That's probably what he's been doing better than anything else while he's on the floor for the Knicks. Now, he is passing the ball. He is scoring like I stated. But his rebounding is something to be looked at because we've been missing Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. Isaiah Hartenstein has been limited with minutes, but that hasn't stopped Josh Hart from going out there and still helping the Knicks get rebounds and second chance opportunities. And we're probably not beating Orlando or a lot of these teams without Josh Hart on the floor for us, without him playing major minutes, without him complaining about playing major minutes. His hustle has been seen in each and every game that he's out there for the New York Knicks. We cannot complain about what he does when he's on the floor because he gives absolutely everything when he's out there for the Knicks. And we see it. Sometimes we don't like it. Hey, me personally, I don't like that hesitation move he does on the baseline or on the perimeter before he goes in for a drive. You want to know why? Because I know it's coming. So does everybody in the league, because we've all seen it. So I personally don't like that. But I like the fact that he doesn't stop. He never stops. He'll always continue pushing forward, even when the defenses are pushing down on him, holding him down and putting a lot of pressure on him. He knows that if he doesn't continue to attack for the Knicks, they're going to be in a bad position because they don't have other players on the floor that can help fill that void right now. Julius is not there. OG is not there. We only have Dante, sometimes Jalen, and then Josh Hart. So we have to do everything we need to do and maximize everybody's abilities while they're out there. Going back to Josh Hart, Ian Begley reports that Josh Hart is playing all of these minutes while he's playing through and managing inflammation in his left knee. Hart was everywhere against Orlando. He put an exclamation point on the win with a remarkable putback dunk in the fourth quarter to help the Knicks beat the Magic for the first time this season. I want to mention Hart is doing all of this while playing with a knee that has inflammation. That probably doesn't feel good. He probably has to get it treated before the game, after the game, during halftime, while he's on the bench. It is not a good feeling to play with a knee that has inflammation. But he's doing all of this on that type of knee, having this type of impact while playing with that inflammation. Tom Thibodeau, head coach of the New York Knicks, also understands just how important Josh Hart is. He says the following to the New York Post, Steph Bondy. A lot of the things that he does aren't measured statistically. They are just fly all over the place, hustle, get to loose balls, hit the open man. And oftentimes, he's not getting the assist, but he's making the play. So those toughness plays, it gives your team heart. It gives your team heart. What a fitting way to end that quote by Tom Thibodeau. That's exactly what Josh Hart gives this Knicks team. He gives them all heart. He's Iron Heart at this point in time, in my opinion, because he's playing 40-plus minutes. He's playing with knee inflammation. He's not complaining. He's making an impact, and without Josh Hart, we probably don't beat the Magic. Without Josh Hart, we probably don't beat a lot of these teams in the absence of Julius Randle and OG Anunoby. We have to give this man credit. He has stepped up in a major way after all of these injuries, and especially after All-Star break. He has just been playing out of his mind. He's been shooting the three ball just a little bit better as well. I think that's because he's been practicing it a lot more. He's been speaking about that. And clearly, when you have Jalen Brunson and Dante DiVincenzo, the New York version of the Splash Brothers, and they're part of Villanova, and Josh Hart is also part of Villanova, you want to get in on that. You want to be part of that. And you also want to be part of that quote-unquote New York version of the Splash Brothers. And Josh Hart is doing his best attempt as trying to be part of that because he's been hitting his threes when open. Defenders are still giving him a lot of room and a lot of space as well because they don't trust him and they don't trust that three-point shot. But he's been taking what the defense has been giving him, and he's been hitting those three-point shots. He's not been hesitating. He's not been hesitating at the baseline and driving into the rim and trying to take contact, which everybody knows he's going to do. He's actually been taking those threes. I've been proud of Josh Hart. He hasn't been doing that early on in the season, but it seems like he's been watching the film. He's been listening to the coaching staff, listening to his teammates, and shooting the shot when he's open. And oftentimes, that's actually been something that's been working for the Knicks because he's been hitting those shots. So shout out to Josh Hart for being the absolute ultimate glue guy for the New York Knicks. That's exactly what Tom Thibodeau was describing. He didn't say that, but if you go back and you look at what he said, he was describing a glue guy for the New York Knicks. He is everywhere you need him to be. He is always giving you hustle. He is always giving you, no pun intended, heart. And he is everywhere on the court. You need a rebound, he's giving you that. You need a coast-to-coast bucket, he's giving you that. You need him to play make and pass the ball, he's giving you that. He's giving you everything. These Villanova guys, they're built differently. We see that with Dante. We clearly see it with Jalen. And we see it each and every night with Josh Hart. They all thrive differently. They all do different things that they do well. Dante shoots the ball extremely well. Jalen Brunson's footwork is probably some of the best in the league. And Josh Hart and his hustle, that hustle, if it's a skill, Josh Hart would probably be a league leader in the NBA in that stat called hustle because he has it in spades. And you see it each and every night when he steps on the floor for the New York Knicks. Josh Hart had the perfect quote and I want to mention it here. He said this to the New York Post. Do I like playing the power forward? No. Do I like guarding little shooters running around screens? No. But there's no team that has won without sacrificing. So as much as I hate something, if Thib says we need you to do this, I'm going to go out there and do it to the best of my ability. Honestly, guys, I think that's the best way to end this video from this Josh Hart quote, because he said it exactly right. He doesn't like playing power forward. He doesn't like chasing all of these guards each and every night, running around the court each and every night, playing all these heavy minutes each and every night. But he does it because the team asks him to do so, the team depends on him, and Tom Thibodeau depends on him. And he doesn't want to let us down. Doesn't want to let the fans down, his teammates down, his coach down. So he goes out there and he does what he needs to do at his best ability. And Josh Hart, honestly, for me and for many Knicks fans, I got to say, we thank you for that. A lot of players wouldn't do that. I've watched this Knicks team and these rosters each and every year for nearly 25 plus years. A lot of players don't do what you do, bring what you bring, and impact the game like you impact the game. Don't worry about the haters. I know there are a lot of haters out there. The real ones know who you are, know what you do, and know your impact. And I speak for them when I say, thank you for giving us all of the heart that you can, because you do it on a nightly basis. And I say this for everybody. It's much appreciated. But what about you guys? What do you think about Josh Hart thriving at the perfect time for the New York Knicks and his clear impact that has been seen not only by me, not only by many fans like you, but by NBA insiders, NBA league sources, and coaches all around the association? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.